Ireland is rightfully renowned for the many top horsemen and women that are born and raised in this country, with the Irish leading the field in many areas of this global sport and industry. Sometimes, however, one comes along that proves themselves to be truly outstanding in the world of horse racing. Mick Kinane, born and raised near Kinane in Tipperary, was bred into the game with a champion hurdle winning jockey as his father.
I knew him as a young fella in Liam Brown's. He was there in a kind of a vintage time. There was Tommy Carmody and Mark Dwyer, who went on to be two great national hunt jockeys, Pat Gilson, Stephen Crane and Mick. And the chat was that he was a bit special, and he was a bit special from day one. He arrived on the scene, he had to be good because Christy Roach and Wally Swinburne were the two top men here, and every day of the week you had those two breathing down your neck. I hate the word best or greatest, but I have never seen a better jockey than Mick Kinane in my life. And the Mick Kinane that you got at Longchamp on Arc Day was the same Mick Kinane you'd get him at Tramore. He's a nice fella, but he was ruthless when he was on a horse's back. He took no prisoners, and that's what you had to be. And Mick was like that. A beautiful pair of hands, great brain, brave as a lion. He had all the qualities that a great jockey should have.
He soon established himself as a leading flat jockey in this country, but he became a true pioneer of the sport in Ireland when becoming the first Irish jockey to make it on the world stage with many major victories around the globe.
You see riders that have the will to win. It's hard to put into many words. I always just saw something special in him, even before he came to me. I had always been interested in international racing, and I believed we could beat these horses around the world. The first place we tried was America, and luckily we were very successful. I believe we would have won the Kentucky Derby that year with Go and Go. It wasn't possible to get to Kentucky, and we settled for the Belmont. Mick gave Go and Go the most brilliant ride to win the Belmont in the 7th fastest time ever recorded for the Belmont, and we beat the Kentucky Derby winner by 7.5 lengths. It had never been done before, it hasn't been done since, and it was just one of those special days.
Go and Go gets the lead. 36 Red on the rail second. Baron de Beau is third. Then Yonder and Unbridled. They pass 16th pole. And Go wins the Belmont.
As we'd won Grade 1s in America, Group 1 in Hong Kong, it'd always been my hope that I'd have a horse good enough to bring back to win a Melbourne Cup. And we had the horse in Vintage Crop, and of course the rest is history.
Great Vintage is late, Tiaka Nick, but Vintage Crop has got him. Vintage Crop, the Irish horse will win the Melbourne Cup. Vintage Crop, 2 lengths, Tiaka Nick just held second.
It was very exciting. He settled nicely for Michael. He got him in a lovely position, as he always got his horses, and this was one of the key things. He had the wonderful knack of getting his horses relaxed, getting them into a rhythm, and just producing them at the right time. And made steady progress on Vintage Crop, and came with a long run down the middle of the track, and won going away. I've always said Mick Kinane would have been a success in any business, whatever he happened to. He happened to be a jockey, but he would have been a huge success in whatever business he went into, or whatever walk of life he chose. He had this huge offer from Ballydoyle to go as first jockey for John Magner and his associates. It was just a natural progression. He let me know well in advance, and I asked him who he think would be a logical successor, and he named him and won. And he said, there's a young rider, young apprentice called Pat Smullen. I think we should have a look at him. That's the way he said it. I think we should have a look at him. And in fact, we gave Pat a rider too, and he got on well. And then the CLWell Park Stakes was on for 2-year-olds that we sponsor. And I had 2 runners in it. And Michael rode the favourite, finished 3rd. And Pat Smullen won for me on the outsider. And I remember going over to Mick in the 3rd enclosure. Mick always wanted to win, naturally. Being 3rd wasn't very enjoyable. But he said, I think I found the right rider for you anyway. And that was Pat Smullen.
Yeah, he was obviously always a special fella, really, very professional, very quiet, very refined, but really professional in everything he did and every race he rode. He was the absolute, I suppose, ultimate perfectionist. Everybody will remember Galileo. I remember when he won first time at Leopardstown, and I remember Michael saying, listen, this horse is very different, you know. He won his maiden, I think 14 or 15 minutes, which was very unusual, and obviously took him all through his 3-year-old career, and I suppose the rest is history. There were so many big horses he rode, so many special days, big pressure days. He never flinched really, either ways, win, lose or draw, he was always the same fella really. If you go back to Galileo and the Derby, we hadn't won the Derby. He was our first Derby winner, and obviously that was a big pressure one. He was, we always thought the world of him, great pedigree, everything about him was right. Preps had been good, and the same thing, he took his time on him in the Derby, and I remember him telling me what he was going to do through the race, before the race, and exactly went to script totally. I suppose at that time he had an awful lot of experience. He'd ridden for an awful lot of different trainers all over the world, different tracks. And he was kind of ready for it, I suppose, really at the time.
But it's Galileo who's gone for home, a furlong and a half out. He's kicked 2 or 3 lengths in front. Battling on is Mr. Combustible, followed by Golan, who's now starting to fly. Dilshan in trouble, and then Tabug. But it's Galileo, a half furlong left to go, and Galileo is going to career away with the Derby. Galileo goes on to win it. Second is Golan.
He was such a great rider. He was always in the right place in a race. He was the ultimate professional. He was mature, his weight was very good, but I think that was because the way he lived his life, the way he did everything. Like, he used to stay with us when he came down to ride work, and like we used to see, he'd always only eat one sausage, one rasher. Like, he would do what everybody else did, but in total moderation, and that's what made him the person he was, I suppose. He had ridden at that level for such a long time, and he was, like, when we got him, he was absolutely at his peak. At the time, he was ready to come out of the heat really and have a bit more of a relaxed life, and I suppose it worked perfect with John. He was close. Obviously John was a lovely man, great trainer, lovely man to work with, and I think it worked perfect.
Of course, had a great career by the time he came to me, working for Dermot for so long, and then for Ballydoyle, and riding for everybody all over the world. He was the first really international Irish-based jockey who got himself about, and everybody wanted him. So he was coming to me then for his last 6 years, as it turned out, and we had this very good relationship, and we had some big winners and some really good horses. And then to come up at the very end in his final year with, you know, the greatest horse he could ever ride. Yeah, I surprised him a little bit by putting him on this horse, beautiful big horse. He gave him a great feel, you know, just a few furlongs, just doing a nice easy bit of work. He was excited from the day he rode him, for sure. All the good jockeys, they can learn a lot from the horse without doing too much with him, and even in his early work as a 2-year-old where he wasn't being pressed, he said he could see he had a great engine in him. I'd say it gave him a lift coming into his final year. It was a great lift for a jockey who was turning 50 in his last year to actually have the incentive to still drive himself forward.
The other one, Grand Ducal, they're about 5 in front now of Stasolita. He's getting up on the inside on See the Stars. He's got 6 or 7 lengths to make up. He'll have to be a champion. Stasolita races into the lead now. 2 in front. He is a champion, I reckon. He's got the run now in the centre. He's out after the leader. He picks up Stasolita. He powers clear. See the Stars racing away. Perfection in equine form. A horse of a lifetime. He's just going to go on and win the Arc by 2 lengths.
He retired still at the peak of his powers.
Not content with becoming the best jockey in the world, Mick also set his sights on the breeding business, and this venture achieved near instant success with the Epsom Derby winner Authorise, bred in partnership out of their mare Funzy.
Locarno in second, Eagle Mountain and Ackleen, but Dettori is clear in the Derby for authorised 5 or 6 lengths. He's had to wait 15 years, but a blitzing performance by At the Line authorised will give Frankie Dettori his first Derby.
He loves horses, you know, and he's always been close to them. He's always worked closely with them. So it was no great change for him just to go to the sales.
He bred authorised, Derby winner. Very few people breed a Derby winner. He knew the business, I suppose, inside out, obviously from his dad and his mum. Like they were steeped in horses and horse history.
Further breeding successes followed this early Derby success, with stakes winner Tashar and Rocky Sky, all bred from a very small number of mares representing Mick's farm. In 2019, Mick Kinane became the European buyer for the Royal Hong Kong Jockey Club and quickly made his mark in his new role, with one of his first purchases being Romantic Warrior. This 300,000 guinea Irish bred is now the winner of 9 Group 1 races, including the Hong Kong Derby, with prize money earnings of over €20 million.
You're talking about Mick Kinane, definitely he's the legend of the jockeys. Everyone knows him. He's a very, very good rider, and he's very successful as well, yeah. We just respect each other, but since he got me a Romantic Warrior, we get more closer, yes.
Michael Kinane has dazzled racing fans around the world. In 2019, he sourced Romantic Warrior for the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Mix says this is the only horse he has sent straight to the vet after just one viewing. And he was proved right, with Romantic Warrior having already achieved a rating of 125 and set a new world record of 177 million Hong Kong dollars in prize money, which is approximately 23 million euro.
Very few people, if any, can say that they have ridden, bred and bought a Derby winner, but Mick Kinane has. He has made a remarkable contribution to the Irish bloodstock scene and remains a wonderful ambassador for it.
Mick is not only a remarkable jockey, but a true ambassador for our sport. A man who embodies the courage, determination and passion for excellence that is a mark of a true racing great. Mick, you have inspired countless individuals, including your fellow Irish horsemen. Your legacy will continue to shine for many years to come. Congratulations, Mick. You are a true legend in every sense of the word. Thank you.
Michael, many congratulations on a really well-deserved award. You've had a wonderful life, tremendous victories around the world, and enjoy the evening.
Michael, I'd just like to say congratulations on everything you've done. Jockey, breeder, bloodstock agent. You've given so many of us so many special days, and can't tell you how grateful we all are to you. Hope you have a great night.
Well, Michael, many congratulations on this well-deserved award, contribution to the industry.